Tonight, we will rewind and go back in time to 2019 and watch the Grant Amato interrogation. The loser that bankrolled his webcam girlfriend with $200,000 of his dead family's money. So let's sit back, relax, and watch this episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Let's Talk Live podcast. It is Friday night, July 7th. I'll get this out, 2023. This is episode 11. I've been meaning to get this one out. It's literally been in my backlog for about a month. I'm actually excited to finally get this episode going. I'm going to welcome everybody into the live show. We're going to get into the Grant Amato interrogation this evening. I haven't done one of these videos in a while. I'm going to try to power through and do the whole thing. It's quite a long interrogation, but I may end up splitting this into two sections where I have one, the part 2 scheduled for tomorrow at noon. So we'll see what we can do tonight to get into this. It's going to be a pretty long show, so I know people will come and go, and that's great. Whatever, we're going to do a little different content this evening on this episode. So let's do this and give some background to this story. So Grant Amato annihilated his family over a webcam model. This is from the Crime Wire online. I'm not going to read the entire background, but I'll give a little bit of a background because you all know that I like to go back first. So Cody Amato goes missing on January 25th, 2019. Cody Amato failed to show up for his job as a nurse anesthetist at Orlando Regional Medical Center in Orlando, Florida. This was out of character. The ambitious 31-year-old medical professional who ordinarily arrived early, and it caused concern among his co-workers. So they say they phoned Cody's girlfriend, who similarly could not reach the young man, prompting them to ask police in nearby to check on Amato's house, where he lived with his parents and younger brother. Officers respond, promptly arriving at the sprawling property at 9:17 a.m. They enter the property to find something far more horrifying than they could have possibly imagined. What police found inside the Amato home. Upon entering the home, police first found 59-year-old Chad Amato, Cody Amato's father, laying face up on the kitchen floor with a fatal gunshot wound. Officers then discovered Cody's body on a storage room floor, and the 61-year-old Margaret Amato slumped over on her office desk with the apparent gunshot wound to the head. Almost every member of Amato's family who lived in the home was dead, but there was one member of the family, Grant, who was nowhere to be found. After police tracked him down to a local hotel, they uncovered an absolutely bizarre sequence of events that precipitated to demise as Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato. So let's see. I want to get into a little bit of this background. I don't want to read too much of the story. So let's see. Unraveling Grant Amato. After being fired from his nursing job and arrested, Grant found it impossible to find employment in his field. The road back led Grant to pursue Twitch streaming, by which he intended to play video games for a live audience who would give him small amounts of tips through subscriptions in his channel. Cody and Chad supported Grant in his effort, providing their credit cards to help him purchase streaming equipment and advertising for his channel. But despite his racking up charges, his father and brother credit cards, Grant was not thriving as a Twitch streamer, and he really streamed and earned less than $150 a month for his views. Instead of working, Grant slowly engrossed himself in the world of webcam models, women who stream to live audiences that pay them for conversations and erotic entertainment. Grant became particularly obsessed with a Bulgarian former who went by the online moniker Silvi, spent hours with her nearly every night in expensive private chats costing hundreds of dollars more per session. Over time, Grant developed a double life online where he portrayed himself to Silvi as a wealthy professional video gamer. In order to keep his facade, Grant showered Silvi with money and purchased her lingerie and toys for her model in her online shows. Enchanted by the positive reaction she received from the beautiful model when he gave her money and gifts, Grant eventually believed that he had a genuine romantic relationship with Silvi, which was only fueled out of control by his spending and obsessive behavior. So just to get a little bit more background on this, because I'm not going to read the entire article because I do want to get into the interrogation because this is a long interrogation. So basically he was found. His dad actually started snooping into his computer, found what he was doing. They actually sent Grant off to get some help. Essentially, he ended up leaving the facility like 2 weeks later. They basically banned him from talking to this webcam model. That's where he went berserk and ended up killing his whole family. Ultimately, in the end, he ended up, I think, spending over $200,000 on this cam model. It's so crazy, such a bizarre story, and one that I've been wanting to do for a while. Before we get into the interrogation, I do want to welcome everybody in. I see the chat here. Jessica's in the chat. How are you, Jessica? Thank you so much for coming in. Kang Blue is here. Victorine definitely is here. Deborah Hall is here as well. And I have Brenda in the chat as well. So thank you so much for showing up this evening for these live streams. You know, it's not Idaho content. You know, I get that. But I don't want to continue to build my channel just solely off Idaho because there's plenty of other things out there to do. And, you know, I just came on live this evening and there's literally like 6 people streaming Idaho content right now. It's crazy. It's crazy right now. I do have an Idaho show planned this weekend. I'm not going to sure if I'm going to do it tomorrow night or Sunday night. And I will be streaming Monday and Tuesday as well, too. So we'll get into this evening. Hopefully some more people show up. If not, again, they're just missing out on the great content that's going to be here. And we'll play through this interrogation. As we get into the dead spots, I'm definitely going to fast forward through that when the police leave. So I'll probably fast forward through that. But I'm going to try to do the whole thing tonight. If I don't, again, I have part 2 planned for tomorrow at noontime. If you can't catch it live, you can always come back and catch the replay. Just go down there in the comments and hit that hashtag replay. I would appreciate it. So let's go on and we'll play the Grant Amato interrogation. Funny thing that I have to say before I go into this dude is so fucking dumb. And this dude thinks he's so slick. Like, bro, there's so many underlining circumstances that led you to this point. You are so guilty even walking into this room. It's not even funny. So we'll keep playing through here. This is like one of my favorite interrogations to watch. It's just a huge mental exercise. And when they get Grant in that corner and pin him, you know, they know they have him dead to rights. Obviously, he does not confess in this interview, and actually he's free to leave. And he actually expresses that at the end that he would like to leave at some certain point because he knows that he's definitely cornered. And I believe it was the next day that they actually went in for arrest warrant and arrested him for the murders. So we're going to play here and see what happens.
Coke right? No. I'll hold off on that.
Okay. Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us. And
I always love that cop when I hear this and I watch through this because I watch this. I wouldn't say a couple times a year, but once a year I go back and watch these. And just the way that the officer is, and he kind of has this tone like, "Hey man, we know you fucking killed your parents." I want to rewind that because I really love that. It's just kind of like the cops like, "Hey, we know you killed your whole fucking family."
you know what? You coke or anything?
No. I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us. And
We know you killed your whole fucking family.
anytime during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink,
I do too, Victory.
thing, just let me know, and we'll be happy to get you in. My name is Danny Anderson, and I'm a deputy Seminole County Sheriff's Office, as is Eva. So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay? Full name?
My full name is Grant Tiernan Amato.
How do you spell Tiernan?
T-I-E.
There's always the comments there that I've heard of is they call this guy Alien Head because he looks like the alien in Aliens, the movie Aliens. And dude, bro, like you're balding, just shave your head, bro. It's okay. Just shave your head, bro. You know, like, come on, what are we doing here? It's making you look a lot older. Shave the head, bro.
Your date of birth?
May 20th, 1989.
Okay. Home address?
Hey, Josh,
Home
how are
address
you?
is 2112 Salton
Everything's
Circle,
It's good to see you.
Tuliota, Florida.
Dr. Bob's here as well. Good to see everybody in the chat.
3766.
Phone number?
Yes, Smithers. Yes.
For the home
Smithers.
or for
Home.
well, I mean, my original cell phone number was 407-687-0738. Home phone number was 407-971-1422. My cell phone currently doesn't have any service with it, so I mean, it's just.
So you don't have you haven't moved to another number, just that one's no longer good.
My dad had told me that when he disconnected my service, that he also changed my phone number. So I don't know what the new phone number is.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's probably like you can probably still see it.
Do you have the phone or?
It was in my duffel bag.
Oh, gotcha.
Back there, yeah.
Gotcha. Email. Do you have an email or anything? If we need to.
My main email is Amato, all one word, all lowercase. Amato light, like a light bulb, @gmail.com.
Education.
I have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from UCF back in 2011. And that's my highest level.
Okay. What is there any special nursing degree? What you do or?
I mean, I have like other certifications. But I mean, with that, like I primarily worked in the hospital for I think 5 or 6 years. And then I was pursuing a Master's of Science in Nurse Anesthesia.
Yes,
that was back in 2015, I believe.
Okay.
But then I didn't complete that, and then I just went back to nursing. And then when this whole, like, wrongful accusation of the grand theft charge that I told you about in the car, when that happened, I stopped working at the hospital, and then that took, like...
I don't think, I
just got this in the mail today. I'm super stoked about it. So awesome. Has the belt. It says Mike Tyson down the side. And it says Power Puncher on it. It's so awesome. It's so vintage and so 80s looking. I love it. So stoked when I got this thing today. I'm like, I'm wearing that live.
Well, I was accused of grand theft of the third degree back in June of 2018. That like went on for 6 months, and during that time, I obviously wasn't allowed to work because of it. And then
where was that at?
Florida Hospital South, the main one down in Orlando.
Down on Orange Avenue?
Yes, before the tattoo, yes.
Okay.
That's like...
So when that happened, obviously,
like
I was dismissed from that job, and I couldn't get another job because now you have an outstanding felony charge on your name.
Sure.
So then I got the attorney. It all went through, and then finally in December, they posted on the Orange County Clerk Courts or whatever website where your file is that there was no evidence ever presented. All the charges.
The thing that you'll notice in this interrogation when they start to get into it, or even just right now, I mean, I think he's aware that his parents and his brother is dead. He doesn't ask once what happened, how they're doing. It's crazy.
Were dropped, and now I'm just in the process of expunging that from my records.
Right.
But
I love Mike Tyson's Punch Out
because I can't keep just not working forever.
Sure.
And, that was kind of a topic around the house was I need to get started here.
Right. Who was your attorney for that?
Lauren Lycum, Chapman Law Group.
Okay.
I think that one's based in Sarasota.
Okay.
So then.
But they didn't really have to do anything.
No, she didn't.
Attorney didn't file any charges. So.
No, state attorney didn't file anything, and then she just presented that she was going to be my attorney, and that was the most work she ever had to do.
Okay.
And then I've been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten 3 or 4 callbacks. And then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
Where was that at?
That was with Accredo.
Is that like a staffing, or is that like a headhunter kind of job?
No. That's like their actual company. It's why can I not remember the first name? It's something Scripps. Team Scripps.
Where's the location?
It's out close to the airport. It's on Lee Vista.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the morning. And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because it's a crappy world when you don't have any money, you can't do anything. So
financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows all more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
If you work your standard 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between I'd say $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So it's not bad.
You weren't happy.
Obviously, if you work overtime, like some of the nurses who've also been nurses for a long time, they can make 6 figures.
Well, that's because he's lying, Dr. Bob.
If you work 5.
What was your best year?
I think my best year I made like 55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone for that time.
Just to pay the bills to get you where you gotta. Gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays, base like about 150 up to 175. You work a lot of overtime. You
long business.
200, but then
So what would you actually be doing?
If I could do anything.
No, with that job, that nursing anesthesia.
Alien head.
What would you do?
Oh yeah, nursing anesthesia.
Thank you.
You just you're in the OR.
Yes.
You put the patients to sleep, keep them alive during surgery, wake them up, send them off to the.
I thought that was a doctor that did that.
In Florida, the anesthesiologist, which is the MD equivalent, if you will, they have to come in at the start of surgery. They have to induce the patient to put them to sleep. And then as long as they're comfortable with you, the surgeon's comfortable with you, then the anesthesiologist leaves, and then you take care of the whole entire surgical
Just oversee it.
Right.
Okay.
And then, again, by the time you're a CRNA, you're obviously competent enough to wake the patient up. So when I was a student, though, the anesthesiologist would sometimes come back in for wake up to make sure everything's okay. And then you take them to the PACU or the post-op area. Drop them off, you give the nurse report, and then you go on to your next case.
Okay. High school, where'd you go?
I went to Timber Creek High School on Avalon.
Okay. And graduated what year?
2007.
Okay. And then did you go right to UCF and start your degree?
Summer, yeah.
Okay. What kind of grades you make? How were your grades?
High school and the first 2 years of college, I was A, B, C. I was in honors in the major program for UCF. And then my final 2 years when I was getting my BSN, I made A's and B's, and then I had one slip up in my final semester where I had to redo a class, and then I ended up graduating in August.
Of what year?
2011.
Okay. And did you start work right after that?
Yeah, I think like a couple months after.
And went to work where?
I first worked on the intermediate critical care unit at ORMC in downtown.
Okay. And then went from where? Up to Rollins at some point?
No. I went to I worked in the ICC there at that hospital, and then I worked in the multi-system ICU at that hospital. And then I applied for the graduate school in December, or I started going in January of 2014.
Mhm.
Was that a ferry?
That was at Barry University, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Girlfriends.
Girlfriends. I had, like, my high school sweetheart girlfriend for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no, like, official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there.
Dates occasionally, but, I mean, not really. Kind of focused on, like, just getting through the life goals that, you know, I wanted to achieve. And then,
You have a bunch of school debt?
school, I mean, not anything from UCF. I have about $100,000, I'd say, from my math when I was going to Barry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Yeah,
only school debt
100%.
that I have right now. It kind of creeped back up.
You
when I
hadn't
wasn't
even
working,
asked
so
about them.
I had
Sure.
to go on to the
Sure.
deferred payments or whatever it's called
Sure.
until I get a job.
20 minutes into the interview.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime. Me and my brother kind of started doing that back 5 years ago, I'd say. He kind of got me into it.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what it is.
I mean,
I thought you said MMA. And I'm like, okay. And then when you start explaining to it,
I mean,
I
I guess
heard it. I'm like, no.
it's animated. It's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons. I guess is the best way to put it. So, it's not as, it's like the stories and whatnot, and the way that the shows progress. It's not as childish as cartoons as you would think, like Powderpuff Girls and SpongeBob SquarePants and all that stuff.
Wicked disconnect.
It's not like that.
So it's adult-based.
It's adult-based, yeah, you
Okay.
can put it that way, yeah. It's you can cover like slice of life, where it's just comedies. You can get dramatic, romance, all those different types of things.
Where would one watch this?
You download it from
Oh,
the
okay.
internet, and then you can just watch it at home, like on your computer. You can watch it on you can watch it anywhere you have an internet
Is
connection.
it in Japanese or
It is in Japanese, and then they
Subtitle
subtitle it. Yeah.
you speak Japanese?
I was gonna say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually
It's awesome. I have 20 people watching tonight. I feel like my channel just launched. This is like the old days. I feel like it's the old days. Like I'm back to like 4 months ago. 20 people watching. That's crazy. I feel like I'm like back to day one. But you know what? The awesome thing about it is that you were all here in this chat tonight to support me and support this channel, and I appreciate that. You know, just because it doesn't say Idaho in the comment in the title doesn't mean that there's not good content here. So I always keep saying people are missing out. Everybody's missing out.
just went to me, my brother, and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school. We went to Japan from December 1st to December 15th.
Oh, wow.
So we went because and it was anime that kind of inspired us to
Was
want
that
to
your
go
first
there.
time going?
Yeah, first time actually.
Who went? You and your brother and who?
Our friend Jericho.
Jericho.
He was originally a friend of my brother's back in high school, and then we all kind of stayed close.
How expensive was that trip?
God, plane tickets alone were like $1,400, and then I'd say it was probably about 10 grand total for like all the stays and whatnot.
For each one of you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 2 weeks. So
How did
When you were there?
yeah? How'd you spend your time over there?
we went to Tokyo for the first 4 days, and then we stayed there, and then we went to Kyoto for 2 days, and then I cannot remember all the names of the specific places, but then it was like 1 day stays at ryokans, which are like guest
Thanks,
houses
Jingles.
or
Appreciate you being here.
How's food?
Food is great.
Well,
We were too scared to actually go into like the shops,
Right.
like the side shops, because all in Japanese, they all know what they're doing, and we don't want to like say it wrong or do whatever, like impose. So we actually survived a lot at night on just like food that you get from 7-Eleven.
What
Because
video?
over there it's called 7 and I, but it's like the 7-Eleven symbol, so it's the same exact
What
thing,
video?
and it's got way better food than what like
Crazy.
the 7-Elevens that we have here. So
Did you go back?
Oh yeah, we would go back.
Really?
Yeah, I think we were actually planning on going back November of this year.
how long you been out of work?
I've been out of work for 6 months, since June.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money to be out of work.
My brother,
Oh
yeah, my
What-
brother,
What does he do?
He's the CRNA.
What?
Sorry, the certified registered nurse anesthetist.
Okay, what you
What we were both in the program together.
Okay.
And then he was able to finish, and then I did not.
So he was making good money.
Yeah.
Was he making that 150, 100?
He was working.
I'm going to be doing a stream about that probably in the next couple of days. I'm just letting everybody get all their Idaho, their Idaho, I don't want to say bullshit, but their Idaho streams out. Like literally every single night, everybody's live is like Idaho. Like, are you serious? Like you can't do it. Like I look at these channels and like, that's why I'm trying to put out different content now. I don't want to just build my channel completely off Idaho because what are we going to do? What are we going to do after that case? It's just the car it's crazy. I think it's a relevant video. I'm still kind of looking into it a little bit. I was talking to one of my moderators today about it, and we're trying to figure a few things out because something seems a little off in the video. So I'll have a little bit more to share once I come to that conclusion. But it just has to do with like the time of the year. We're seeing things in the video that doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. But to me, I'll give you my answer on it. I think that from what I see, I think it is the silhouette looks like a Hyundai Elantra. The time works out. So I don't know. It's just we have a couple more things we're looking into to see what our conclusion is, but I'm sure everybody else has their conclusions. But let's not get into that tonight. We'll get onto that. We'll get into that on the stream when I do my Idaho stream, probably tomorrow night or Sunday night. So Tsunami says, this is a prime example of how smart a Koberger is from the guy in this police interview. Probably, yeah. A Victorine saying, I feel Idaho out. Not that I don't care about the victims. It's just all YouTube creators do. There's so many more cases to cover and learn. Yeah, I mean, I just did the Menendez brothers case last night. And, there's some new information in that. That's a case that goes all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s. It was all over the TV. There's other things going on. I know I want to cover the girl that it's just crazy. Took her newborn baby and threw it in the hospital garbage bin. So I know I want to get into that. And there's a couple other cases that are coming out. So, but again, I appreciate you all being here, because you are the ones that matter. You are the ones that really care about this channel and the content here. And it can't be Idaho all the time. I've been saying that since day one. I mean, how many streams can you do? How many times can you talk about that same stuff over and over and over again? It's just, it's crazy. Jessica says, I feel like all the backing up is getting maddening. So tired of Idaho. Enjoy the new content. Thank you. I appreciate it. Had to quit the Idaho stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not that we don't care. We care. But I just don't think that there's a lot right now. And I think what's going on is everybody's just like, listen, I've heard things about the video. And I put the members out video today. I put the members only video out today. Yeah, I'll get into this a little bit since everybody's kind of interested and we're kind of tailing in that direction. It's like, I did the members only video today and I talked about, I heard a creator come on today. They're talking about that the video's not supposed to be out there and it got into the wrong hands. I'm like, look, we don't know who's putting these videos out. And if it's being put out, it's being put out for a specific reason. They're leaking it for a specific reason. That's my opinion. Now, basically what happened was everybody got it. The video is easy to get. I have it. I had the 1 hour before and the 1 hour leading into the crime. So I have the video. I don't have the 3 a.m. video, and I just don't really care at this point. I mean, it's just I'm trying to explain it, and I don't think it's coming out the right way. It's there's too much bullshit surrounding it. I've seen someone that's cleaning up the video a little bit, and it makes sense, and they're doing some overlays on it, and it's making sense to me. But again, there's still a little bit more to go through that video. Something seems a little off to me in it, and I'm going to investigate a little bit more. And someone was complaining today that it got leaked and it wasn't supposed to be out there, and it's like, this person could have paid for it, or it could have been the original owner that leaked these videos. And I think the reason that they're kind of pissed off is because it's not lining up the narrative that they've had going on all along. Now, I've seen 4 separate videos right now. There's 3 that are just a stationary video where I believe, and I think it is, the Hyundai Elantra come in up on Linda Lane, do that 3-point turn and leave. So we have that section of video. And then there's one, I think there's a dumpster cam video. I think that's what I've seen the name of it, where the car comes down at about 12:30 or 12:45 a.m. and it turns and everybody's like, that's a white Hyundai Elantra. It's not. It's a fucking BMW X6. If you don't believe me, I was going to kind of save this for my live the other night, but ironically is walking through the parking lot today, and what did I see? A white BMW X6. And when you match up that silhouette to this silhouette, like someone did in that video, they did an overlay and it lines up. And the thing that I have to think about too is, if these are regular cars in that neighborhood and any of the movement of those cars in that neighborhood, don't you think the law enforcement has probably tracked those people down and talked to them already? So it's, again, there's a lot to get into over it. I don't want to get too much into it tonight because I really want to focus on this and get away from Idaho for the night. But there's some strange things that are going on in the video. I'm going to look a little bit more into it, but that's kind of my take on it. So remains to be seen, I guess. And everybody's going to whip up the conspiracy theory. I'm sure that they're probably saying there's an alien walking in, some creators saying there's an alien walking in the back of it and the UFO is taking off in the distance. I really just want this case to get to trial because I'm sick of all the speculating, and I'm sick of all, the 5 million different angles, and everybody's fighting over it, and everybody's, saying shit about everybody else's channel. And it's ridiculous. And that's not what this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the victims, finding justice for them. And these people, these certain creators, I'm not saying all, but certain creators use this as a platform to elevate their own fucking ego. And it's getting out of hand. It's crazy. And I'm tired of the bullshit. And I'm tired of all these people. They're just putting shit out there to put shit out there. The bottom line is we weren't there that night. We can only speculate off the evidence that's being put out there or any of these leaked videos that are putting out there. It's only speculation, but we were not there. And when this gets to trial, if it goes to trial, we will get an interpretation of what the evidence says. But it's going to be, it'll come out. It'll come out in trial. And I don't know. It's just getting a little like mind numbing right now. People are getting way too crazy over this. Everybody's like chasing, the next subscriber, and everybody's talking about everybody. And it's getting out of hand. It's crazy. So, that was my rant. It felt good though. I got to admit, it felt good because this has been my frustration for like the last 2 weeks. That's why I haven't done any Idaho streams. I'm just sitting back watching everybody right now. Because right now I probably can look up, there's probably 10 different YouTube channels that are doing Idaho streams right now. It's like, seriously, everybody's just trying to outdo each other. Detective John says, laugh out loud. Those other so-called creators tried to play that BMW as the other car, like the truck. It's about the truth, not about conspiracy BS. 100%, dude. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just look at, I could have went sideways on this case and spun up a million fucking conspiracies and probably had 30,000 subscribers on this channel. But I talked about it. God, why am I getting into this? Every night I feel like I get dragged back into Idaho stuff. But it's like I cannot feel good I cannot consciously feel good at night. And my bed is right there. I cannot lay down on that bed and put some conspiracy theory out there and feel good about it, because in the bottom line, it's the families. You can't do that to the families. What you're putting out there. And I urge creators, be very careful what you're saying, because you never know, in the end, these families might whip up a big lawsuit and take down a lot of these people that were putting shit out there that's wrong. So you got to be really, really careful. Yeah, it's crazy, Victorine. It's crazy. So let's get back to this interrogation. So now he's saying, get back to center violence, get back to the prevent dude in the police station. Thank you for reeling me back in. I'll go off on this on an Idaho stream probably sometime this weekend, but thank you. Detective John, thanks for being over here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your insight, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room are feeling this way tonight. So fuck, man, it's just crazy. Mind your business. How you doing? Appreciate you. All right, let's get back to this, because
he was working a lot. I mean, I don't know if he was. I think he was cusping a lot of overtime, not scheduled, but like it's just kind of what happened. But yeah, he was moving along.
What do you think he made his best?
I just don't know if there's anything new. These people, like, I was watching something tonight, and they're literally going back to the PCA now. I'm like, dude, we're like 5 months past that. Like, come on. All right, let's get back into this, because this is a great interrogation.
Yeah, he showed me.
Oh, perfect.
He was complaining about how
Thank you all for being here.
His taxes alone were like the annual income of like a nurse. And I think when he showed me before like it had all ended, like before his pay year had ended, that he was already up to like 166. But that was like after I think the $60,000.
I'd like to hear Detective John's.
I can't remember.
That was after it.
Yeah, I think so.
So he made more.
John, if I give you my phone number, would you call in? I'd love to hear your perspective. I know you go on T-Rev a lot, and I'd love to hear your perspective on what's going on right now, since we're getting into Idaho a little bit. But if you want, I'll throw up the phone number, and if you want to call in really quick and give me your feedback as to what's going on, I know you have a pretty good voice in this. But I'll throw the number out. I got to start taking calls again. That was fun. I used to take a lot of calls. I haven't done it in a while. But if you want to, man, let me know. I'll throw the number in the chat. You can give me a call.
More than
I know what you feel about Idaho right now. All right. Yeah.
Wow. So
let me throw the number up. All right. We're going to get Detective John to call in. I've never actually talked to him before, but I'd love to hear what he has to say, because I know this gets him all spun up. And I know T-Reb's been digging lately too. And I respect him. I really respect what he's doing right now, and just calling out the bullshit. John, if you want to call in, I'd love to hear your perspective on this, because I know this gets you crazy. All right, we're going to get, hopefully, Detective John to call in. 774-855-9400. See? Everybody's missing out on the good shows. These are the good shows when we have the small crowd. I love it. Yes, Mr. Smithers. I'm going to keep playing this, and we'll see.
We definitely picked the wrong
I
top.
should have stayed in nursing.
Yeah, definitely.
So he just paid for your trip to go, since you're both into this.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Jericho, what's he do?
He's got just a high school diploma. So I think for the majority of the past year, he was working as one of those what are they called? They're like the people that watch the security cams when you go into like a gap or something like that. He's like
loss prevention.
Loss prevention. That's it. Correct.
How did he pay for all that?
I mean, I guess he just saved.
Brother didn't have to pay for him?
No. Yeah. He like covered maybe some like daily expenses if there was like a taxi or
something.
Right. Yeah.
How long did you guys plan this prior?
It had been a dream of ours to go for a couple years, and then we really started planning probably.
All right, let's see. Detective John.
Hey, brother, how are you, man?
What's up, man? How are you? Thanks for calling in.
Good. I was out to dinner they're trying to catch. I can't ever catch you live, man. I'm like, damn. I don't know if you have a schedule or.
I was on a schedule, but what happened was, everybody's clouding the airways right now. Like it's literally, it's crazy, man. It's like everybody's like an octopus right now. They're just trying to eat everybody's, path in Idaho. I had a set schedule, but my work life kind of picked up and got a little crazy. So I'm trying to get back into a rhythm once things clear up there. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like if you look right now, there's like 10 Idaho streams going right now.
You know what's funny is I troll. I'll get on. When I get home, I'm done with work, and I just kind of get some massage chair and just kind of click on the comedy, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And I listen to some of this stuff. And I'm not going to say any names. I was on one today, and they had like 4 people on panel, and it was like crickets.
Yeah.
You're like, and the one guy, the creator goes, well, I really don't know what to say. One guy goes, well, you put the video up that Jeff H did? And they're like, oh, taboo on Jeff H, who does an excellent job, by the way. He's probably, out of all of the people that are out there,
right,
the most talented people available. And these guys actually, and he loves going on people's shows. And not biased, he just asks questions sometimes. But if you don't follow their narrative, they ban you. I mean, you just ask a simple question, and it's against their narrative, and no matter how tactful you are, it's crazy, man. It's almost like politics.
Yeah.
Today.
Can you guys? I just want to see in the chat. Just let me know if you can hear. John. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Am I breaking up?
It's just a little low. I have my phone all the way up. I don't have it hooked up to like how T-Rev takes call. I got to talk to him how he does it. I'm just doing it through my iPhone. So, but anyway, we'll keep chat. Oh yeah, everybody can hear you. Awesome, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just why are we beating this dead horse? I mean, it's just it's so redundant and it's boring. There's so much crime out there, brother. There's so much crime. And I, it's like I was trying to tell T-Rev, I'm like, look, man, I don't want to say it's us against them, because I really don't like to say that.
Right.
But if you look at it, since I kind of blew up that one night because I was just tired of all of these accusations and this victim bashing that's been going on. It's just insane to me. It's like they almost want the guy to get off.
Yeah.
I mean, this case, I mean, I was a detective for a long time, bro. This case he's a done deal.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting back and waiting on my popcorn so we can watch the trial and watch all these people that have been saying this crap cringe, because they're cringing at this latest video, the 3-point turn. I was talking to Jeff on the phone, and we're talking about we're talking about superimposing take 2015, and you've got the window line.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
I saw that.
And he did it, and he made it blink back and forth 2015. And you know what I said to him? I said, you know what they're going to hit on? They're going to hit on that stupid truck. And you're talking about a college town during a football night where everybody's out. Hell, the Banfield cops were out there with them. They're running up and down the street, screaming and yelling. And this is they're going to hit on that stupid truck rather than the obvious thing that totally lines up with the PCA, the obvious video 3-point turn that David described in the PCA. And it's crazy. I'm really worried about people today.
What do you think where do you think that comes from? Like this whole thing about everybody that may, let's say, listen, I don't want to convict the guy right now because he is innocent until proven guilty. I think that you can agree with me, right? But what do you think 100%. This is? What do you think this is with just, I don't want to say it's this particular case, but I just see with a lot of cases now that, I mean, you clearly could have a video of a guy plunging a knife into the victim's chest, killing them, and they'd be like, oh no, it's not him. No, he didn't do it.
Yeah,
like, where does that Where does that come from?
Here's the thing. You know, this case is not like any other because of, you know, the fact that, and I said this from the beginning, the only reason why this case is, so if he'd have walked in there, or whoever would have walked in there with a Glock 9 and blown all 4 of these people away, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. You know, because of the gravity and the MO, the method that he did this with a 9-inch K-bar knife, that's what got this. And he knew that when he did that it would happen. I'm going to say it. Brian Kohlberger knew what he was doing. He knew the media coverage it would get. I still don't believe he went in there to kill 4 people. But,
yeah, I don't either.
You know, I don't believe that was a plan. But, you know, I could be wrong. I'm not, you know, I'm the first to admit when I'm wrong. But you ask, what do you think it is? You know, are you referring to the way that other creators are handling this, or are you just mean?
I just think people in general, because I see the narrative out there like this guy is so innocent. They have nothing against him. I'm like, bro, there's like so much evidence against him. And I think what it is that I think this has drawn in so many people that have never been interested in anything to do with like true crime or following cases, court cases, reading legal documents, stuff like that. So you get all this TikToking, this Facebooking. I sound like a really old Gen Xer right now. YouTube, and they go, oh, what is this? And then, you know, they have no idea what's actually going on. So they think just what they're seeing in that PCA is just the evidence we're going to get in this case. I mean, the logical thing you have to ask, and I'm sorry to cut you off, the logical thing that you have to ask is, do you think the state would put the death penalty on the, you know, bring the death penalty against this guy if they didn't have him dead to rights, locked in that he did this? I mean, they're not going to just roll the dice on the table and go, well, maybe if we get it and maybe if we don't, because you know how that would smear that entire community and that state. I mean,
and it's like when I came on, you know, I kind of fell into T-Rev because I like watching Adventures with Purpose. You know, the divers that go out and they work through cold cases.
Yep.
Because I had many cases where vehicles were missing with the victim,
right,
or the missing person, and I knew that we're in a waterway somewhere because it just doesn't work out with me. And usually 99% of the time, you know, the vehicles don't, you know, they turn up in a waterway,
right,
you know, when they're gone for a long time. So I was intrigued with that show, and then there was some drama going on with the creator of that show and some allegation of sexual misconduct and all this stuff. But anyway, and he was on, had came up, and I just went on to a show one night, and he's showing the, I don't know if you remember the Jack D was on the roof of that house, looking down the parking lot, and there was a white car there that was circled in red, and I'm like, man, that's not an Elantra.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Everybody's like, that's car 100. I'm like, I'm telling you, that's not the car.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not trying to be condescending to anyone, but pull up an Elantra and just follow the brow of the window line front and back, and you'll clearly see that that's not an Elantra. And man, it was like pulling teeth to get people to believe that was not the car.
It's crazy.
So that's how I kind of fell into it. And then somebody said, smart after I got on the show, I said, look, I know this is, you know, I worked in law enforcement for a long time. I've got over 20 years of experience in investigation. And, you know, I know what I was a child investigator. I know what to look for. There's software out there and blah, 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 you know, all this stuff. And finally get them to you know, admit that that's probably an Elantra or an Elantra, not an Elantra. I just knew 100,000% that it wasn't an Elantra. But that's how it all started, you know, and you know, I really liked being on the show. Everybody was pretty much receptive, but to answer your question, why do you think? And I'm going to say this, and people may disagree, but I'm sorry, that's the way this country is going. The media has vilified the police, and you know, we can do no right. We're all corrupt, and it's horrible, man, because it's really not that way. It's not that way.
You know what it is, man? and I'm sorry to cut you off. I think it's like
No, you're not. Go ahead.
I think like we lost faith in like pride, like being proud of yourself and being like a proud American. And it's like, you know, like remember during like 9/11, everybody came together, bro. Like, let me get the door for you. Let me open the door. Like we had this like huge outpouring of like being Americans and being prideful and having respect in your country. And like you don't hear about that anymore, man. And it's just like, we just become the society of just attacking people and what can I get on you next? You know, it's just crazy.
You're right. It's like Chosen Rosen said, why can't you just accept the faith? It's like
everything is not gray. Everything is not gray. You know? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's this case, am I biased? I wouldn't say I'm biased. I'm just knowledgeable. I know how this stuff works, man. I know all about DNA. I know about transferred DNA. About DNA. Somebody on one of the shows, the lady got on and said that she understands DNA because the perpetrator in her case got off because they messed up getting the fingerprints off of her panties. And I'm like, you can't get fingerprints on panties. What are you talking about? I mean, it makes no sense to me. Touch DNA, but she's saying latent fingerprints. I mean, you would have to have some pretty serious oily substance and on your hands to leave a latent print on a fabric that could be you can throw it in a lot of people don't know this. You can take super glue, open it up, throw it in a paper bag with it, and the fumes will actually adhere to it.
You get a fingerprint. Yeah,
I actually had my son do that as a project in school, and it's pretty funny because I had them actually pick some students, showed them how to read loops and whirls and bridges and stuff like that. Pick some students, put their names anonymously, pull the glass, and then we could figure out who it was. It was amazing. I mean, the teacher loved it. But anyway, you can't. It's very, very difficult to get latent prints off of cloth.
Yeah.
But anyway, somebody making some crap up. I knew I was like this Kim, and I hate talking about it. But the woman was telling me during the interview, making up stories during the interview. I crossed her up so much. She actually said, I said, tell me about the other 5 suspects. And she said, well, yeah. Ethan was knocked out. I said, how do you know he was knocked out? Well, he was hit over the head with a pipe wrench by the plumber from ISU.
It was Super Mario, right?
I'm going, so a plumber is involved, and he's going to bring pipe wrench to commit a quadruple homicide. And how do you do stuff, lady? It was so monotonous, man, that people were buying this stuff, and they're putting her on their shows. Yeah. One show actually has her as her voice as their header. And it's disgusting to me, man, because she is 100,000% a liar.
Yeah.
And she is fabricated. Now, do I believe that she's a WSU mom? Yeah, I believe that. I believe she's got some mental issues.
Right.
And I
clearly
think she's laid in bed and just paranoid and constructed this fabricated, theory, and she's spewing it, and people are buying it, and it's just blows me away, man. And they're doing it for all the wrong reasons, and that's what's disgusting. And I'm not going to attack anybody, but some of these creators are getting paid, bro. I know one creator made $18,000 in 1 month, bro, doing that garbage. And to me, you talked about putting your head down at night.
Yeah.
How do you do that, man? How do you take advantage of people's ignorance?
Right.
And I'm gonna get thrashed for using the word ignorant. But ignorant is not me saying someone is stupid. It's me saying that they don't understand the processes. They don't, when you're ignorant on something, when you need to educate yourself, you're not stupid. You're just ignorant about the topic. But other people's ignorance isn't really my responsibility. But I went on to the T-Rev show, and I tried to shed some light on how this process works, and people were asking questions, and I loved it, man. I loved it. I loved helping people because I coach. I love to teach, and when people say things and it's just totally outlandish stuff, it blows me away when they say it. But I without being condescending, I try to explain the process. Well, here's why that can be possible,
right?
And here's the way it works, and it worked out great. It was a lot of fun on this show, but we just need to move off of this. And I told him in chat, nothing against T-Rev, right? And I told him personally, I said, dude, cover something else because this is just getting boring.
Yeah.
And I even said in chat, you guys won't see me much because I'm tired of this redundant garbage. And all it is people trying to make stuff up.
Yep.
And and if I'm a parent or I'm a relative or I'm a friend to some of those people,
oh God,
I'm outraged at some of the things that have been said. It's I'm all about free speech, brother. Don't get me wrong.
Right, me too.
But do I think that someone should step in like YouTube and shut these people down for doing this stuff? Absolutely.
But they won't.
To have a theory, yeah, and they won't. But it's one thing to have a theory, but it's irresponsible. Just unbelievably irresponsible.
And that's that's why, like, here on this channel, like everything that I've ever done or talked about, and I'm sure if you've caught some of my shows, like all we've done is use the legal documents that are there and speculate off of that. We don't go out on crazy conspiracy theories because you got to keep it, in my opinion, true to the evidence that we have in front of us.
Right.
And then bottom line, it comes down to, and I said this just before you called, I said, look, we were not there. We don't know. We don't know what happens. You don't.
But, right. But just like everyone else has the right, and he has the right to, be presumed innocent.
100%.
Okay. Until found guilty. But I also, you also, other people also have the right to think he's guilty.
Sure. Absolutely.
But it doesn't change the fact that he is
right. Hope I didn't lose it. Did I lose you?
But to people's side, it's so bad, bro.
I think we lost him. I'll wait and see. I think you're busting out, John.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, brother. Yep.
I said it got so bad when I went on my my rant one night, and I said they're all a bunch of idiots for saying this stuff. That someone spread a rumor that I'm a child molester.
Ugh.
And I'm just so I've got my attorney on it, and they so in case they're all listening. Be on the lookout because I'm telling you right now, you mess with the wrong cat.
Yep.
You mess with the wrong cat because my picture's next to my name, and you accuse me of being a child molester.
Right.
What the hell, man? That's how sick these people are.
Oh, I know,
It's
man.
Absolutely sickening, man.
I had a Discord. I had a whole bunch of people, a bunch of very toxic people in there. And their game was to take down this channel, ultimately take down this channel. And they rallied all against me. And I'm sure I know who are some of the people that I know some of the creators that probably spun all those people up and had them do it on purpose. And I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't have time for like all this melodrama. Like the funny thing is I can look at the average age of the people on my channel. Literally the average age is between 38 and 65 years old. These are 38 to 65-year-old people that are acting like this. And I was like, I'm done. Like, you all are gone. And I just shut the chat down. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit anymore. And that's why I urge, like, I say to Tanya's in the chat right now. So Tanya, don't start a Discord. It's going to drive you crazy. It'll drive you crazy.
I had a good time on T-Rev's show, and we did a lot of good things together, but T-Rev got upset one night and said, "What is the Detective John show now?" Now, that were being made that were positive comments. One person says that, and I believe it was that Steve Irwin guy.
Sure.
Who just loves to start. And he finds it. I had a show, blah blah blah. Dr. John is a guest on my show, and if he wants to start his own show, I'll support him. So you know, I'm starting my own show, bro. And I think what should happen is if you look at their shows, it's not us against them, but they all have together. So if you notice, they're all on each other's.
Of course.
shows. I mean, they'll bounce back and forth. Guess what? We don't have.
Right.
I'm not going to say side against side, but we don't have that.
Right.
Our thought process don't have. You know, I'm going to start my own show. I've already created it. I'm buying all the equipment now.
Cool.
Trying to get versed on it, and it's
Yeah.
going to be called and I'll send you the info.
All right. Listen.
It's going to be.
Go ahead.
It's going to be an open forum, just like, you know, you do and
Yeah.
everyone else. And we're not going to compete for time slots or anything like that. I respect all, you know, guys, but I think that if we do that and we bond together, we can kill it.
Well, that's initially why I
together.
got into this. I mean, I was trying to align myself with a few channels, and, you know, it was just like my view wasn't lining up with theirs. So it was like, you know, you guys go do your thing. And I was even like saying when we first all got together, I was like, hey, we should do this at least like once a month, like just do a community, and we'll jump on like my channel one night, your channel, and support everybody.
Exactly.
And that's what I wanted to do. And it was like, nope, because everybody gets on this space and they're like, it's only got to be me. I only got to do it for me. And I'm like, if you work together, it gets you to that end goal a lot quicker. Like I've had Tanya to Titanium Built. She's been on my channel a few times. I've always told her, if you need me to go to your channel and support you, just tell me the time and day and I'll be there. You know, like she's been a great collab so far. I enjoy, you know, hanging out with her because, you know, we line up with our vision of this case where, you know, what we see and our visions line up. I have a great panel of supporting mods that we have like kind of a little Discord chat, and we, you know, share information. And I've had Laura, one of my mods, on the channel. And, you know, if you approach it that way, I think it's a little bit more productive. And, you know, I even notice now too, all these other people, they just fight with each other, and it's not good. That's not what this is supposed to be about. You know, it's not supposed to be about that.
No, absolutely not. And we should all be fighting for the truth. But at the same time, we should look at the evidence for what it is.
100%.
That PCA, people don't really realize what the PCA was for. All that PCA was for was to get him extradited back
100%.
to Idaho. So that PCA from the beginning, when the PCA was being created, we knew it was coming. I said, don't expect it to be earth-shattering, because really they don't need a lot of evidence to get somebody extradited. Well, that PCA came out and it had a ton of stuff in it. And I was very surprised because I've written many PCAs.
Yeah.
And the elements of the crime are all that have to be there. You don't have to go into detail. So all the rest of that stuff is for all your hearings and your trials and your suppression hearings and all that good stuff. But the cut of the elements are all that has to be there. And the judge just has to say, okay, well, we got TC to go ahead and extradite this guy. So listen, and I know I don't have to tell you this, but anybody that's on the fence that that's all that they have, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you right now, I believe that they're going to have facial recognition, because I believe if you look at she said something in one of her legal, you know, rants, something about facial recognition. I believe she's laying a foundation because she wants to use case law to try and fight from facial recognition, because she knows that there's facial recognition. We don't know it, but she knows. I believe that there's probably facial recognition of him in that car. You know,
well, wait till you get to the
anywhere.
cast information. Wait till that all starts coming out.
Oh yeah, it's going to be overwhelming. They're going to paint this picture just like they did with the
With Murdaugh.
Murdaugh. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
But
okay.
just like they did with that was probably the single most impressive case I have ever seen.
Well, yeah,
man.
I actually just
absolutely unbelievably put together well.
Those
guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if no one has watched that trial and watched the evidentiary portion of that trial and the prosecution's case, man, how impressive. Digital footprints are just unbelievable. I mean, what people don't realize, they don't realize how since 9/11, how this country has it's like England. They've always been way ahead of us. But now, you can't go anywhere without seeing a DOT camera. I mean, a lot of those cameras aren't recording all the time. They're just live feed for the Department of Transportation to look and monitor an intersection to see if there's an issue and they need to cycle a light different or something like that. But a lot of like here, I'm in the Daytona Beach, Florida area. So we just in the past 5 years, I guess now, we had another serial killer. I worked with investigators on the Warnos case. Eileen Warnos, the monster. She was arrested at the last resort. He watched the movie, which is 5 minutes from my house.
Right.
But anyway, they during that investigation of this we just had a serial killer that was killing prostitutes that wound up being a Bethune-Cookman student that wound up in Miami, tracking down through DNA. But we had it set up where we have cameras everywhere, and there's software now. People don't know this, but there's software in patrol cars now that the patrol cars are smart cars.
Yeah,
they're scanning tags.
Yep.
If there's a cop sitting next to you in traffic, it's likely that he has a smart car, and that car is scanning all the tags that it can see, and if that person has a suspended license, that it'll come back and tell them.
Yeah, they have software.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, they have. I was just gonna say that, going back to the Murdaugh trial, like I actually just played the FBI testimony that when he talked about the cast information, and I think his last name was Special Agent Wolf. So I actually just did that the other night because I was like, you guys should all get used to seeing this because this is probably what you're going to see in the Koberger trial, and it's astounding where how close they can locate someone now. And then going back to the recognition software, they actually use that in like Philadelphia, that the trucks that do the booting, they have that and they can scan license plates, and it gives all the as they're kind of driving along to boot people, it just constantly scans license plates, picks up someone that has tickets, boom, they just throw the boot on it, and that's it. So yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, it's really hard to get away with the crime today, unless you're in a full area. But I wouldn't be surprised, and no one's talking about this. But semi trucks over the road that are working for huge corporations have if there's trucks going up down the road, and they would put out there, and they may have subpoenaed semi trucks that actually showed him driving past them on those rural roads.
Yeah.
So I've seen cases like that. So there may be that type of evidence out there. I mean, it's going to be pretty damning. I mean, I get it. People, this is a death penalty case. So here's going to be the hugest part of this case is going to be jury selection, because you got the defense going to want a certain type of juror, and you got the prosecution that's going to want a certain type of juror, but the juror cannot be against the death penalty.
Right.
So what you do is you sit down, you vet these people, and you kind of get a feeling of how they're going to lean and how much evidence are they going to have to see to impose the death penalty. So the prosecution's going to interview a person, and defense is going to interview a person, and they're going to say, well, I think, and the defense is going to think, it's going to be real hard to convince this person to give the death penalty, even though they're not opposed to it. So that's going to be somebody the defense is going to want. And the prosecution is going to want it. It's going to be epic. I'm telling you right now, because of the fact that it's a death penalty I'm excited for you know why I'm excited for the trial? Because of all these people.
Yeah, I knew you were just going to say that.
Of all these people, you got one creator that even dressed her kids up as Watts. And, she when Chris Watts was going through all his, the trial and stuff, she swore he was innocent.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, man.
It's weird, man.
So I'm gonna love it when all this stuff comes out, and then I want to watch their shows.
Yeah.
See what they say.
Yeah.
Because you'd swear, I think you said it earlier, it's almost like you need to have video today.
Yeah.
Of a man wielding a 9-inch cable or knife, plunging it into 4 people, twisting it, doing all the dirty, before you convict. And that's the only thing today that I don't like about DNA, because, I worked, when I started, DNA was just coming about. It wasn't,
right.
It wasn't as easy now.
About 88, it started 87, 88, it really started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And, I started in 88.
Yep.
So, I came up through a lot of different changes. And, but the bad thing about DNA is
you just broke up again.
The bad thing about DNA is everyone expects it now.
Right.
So if you don't have DNA and you're the suspect in a homicide, you're going to get off.
Right.
What happened to good old just, investigative techniques and interviews and witnesses and things like that? They're all kicked to the side because it's like the OJ glove. If the glove doesn't fit, you must quit.
Right.
So if we don't have DNA now, we got to acquit somebody. That's what's scary. That is what's scary. And I've worked many cases, bro, where, the suspect got in his vehicle after committing, triple homicide and didn't leave any DNA from the victims. And they're fixating on that fact. And that to me is not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's not, he did this heinous crime, which I believe he did. I guarantee you he had DNA on it, but I also guarantee you that he's not stupid. Okay, so it would be very easy to derobe if he was wearing like a tie back or something. Just pop his shoes off, and throw them in a bag, or there's speculation about a shower curtain. I don't want to jump down that rabbit hole, but hey, what better item could you lay across the seat of your car and discard all of your clothes and ball it up and get rid of it? Without leaving too much DNA in the car. And, video, they're not talking about the obvious. They surveilled him, basically scrubbing his car.
Right.
So if he's doing that, and then they actually watched him bring trash out at his apartment, watched him bring trash out, what do you think that they did at that point? I came up with a term, and it's kind of all over now, and that's a term that I use in law enforcement. It's called garbology. I've done surveillance and dove in dumpsters after the person dropped the bag in.
Of course.
And it's called garbology. And I called it garbology 101. And we would go and we'd pick trash and we'd pull DNA. We'd pull on dope cases. I would get search warrants based on that because of the, residue. There's foil. There's all kinds of things. Paraphernalia is discarded. But once that trash is pulled down to the road or even the right of the easement, it's abandoned property.
Right.
So you don't need a search warrant
because it's to
retrieve it.
Yep. It's to the road.
So it's very easy to do. And I mean, he was being surveilled.
Yeah.
Relatively quickly. I think a lot faster than people realize. He was being surveilled.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is just me, but I think that a tip came in, and that's why all the genealogy, they don't need the genealogy. The genealogy is not what made the case. All they needed was a tip. They already had DNA. So if let's say the rumor is out there that the security guard at WSU saw the car, there's a sticker on that car. All you have to do is pull that sticker up because he's a student, or and he's registered to the school, so he knows everything about it. So he calls a tip in. It belongs to Brian Kohlberger. So they've got the DNA. So all they've got to do now is get his DNA. So there's many ways to do that. I just told you one way, garbology. Right. But in the meantime, if they had the registration from PA, this is so simple, everyone. All you would do is run the registration, figure out, hey, he's got a residence at his parents' house in PA, contact the Pennsylvania State Police. They do surveillance on that house. They pull garbage from that house. Dad's DNA. They're like, it's one in how many quintillion that he's the dad of Brian Kohlberger. That's it. That's all you needed to do.
100%.
But also, they didn't need to do anything else because they already had his DNA. So once they got his DNA by other means, post-arrest, they did a buccal swab.
Yeah.
And they compared it, or they got it from the garbage that they pulled before he even left to go to Pennsylvania, where they were surveilling him.
So Pat's saying
at that point, you don't have to use any of that DNA.
Right.
It's a moot point.
Pat's saying right here in the chat, he goes, it's reported that he was being watched all over Pennsylvania. Maybe people don't believe that, which is crazy. It's in the PCA.
You're right.
It's in the PCA. Well, but that's the problem is that people don't read any of these legal documents. So they go on a channel, they hear something, and they go, oh yeah, that's what it's going to be. I'm like, and I did a poll like last week. I was like, do you read the legal documents in this case? 66% of the people in the room that night said they've never read any of the documents.
Right. But if somebody says something on one of these shows, it has to be true, right?
Right. Well, of course.
It's like where does common sense come into play here, Brian? It's so, and because I'm automatically hated because I wore a badge. I mean, I've come to terms with that. I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was until somebody actually to try to get rid of me and accuse me of being a pedophile.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
So that's something there is toward anyone against their narrative or the police in general.
Right.
But I even said on T-Red's show, I worked with so many cops that I couldn't stand, bro. I couldn't stand them. I wasn't that typical Ray-Ban freaking aviator sunglasses cop.
Right.
I wore Oakley Blades, bro. I'm a surf rat from Daytona. I had bleach blonde hair, and during spring break down here, I would have girls walk up to my patrol car when I was on patrol and throw their panties in my car. I mean, because I was just that young surf rat from Daytona that wore a badge.
Yeah.
But I didn't fit into a lot of the good old boys, so, but I couldn't stand half those people, so I'm not your typical cop, man. I'm just like, that's the job for free. I came up around drugs and I saw what it did to my family, and I wanted to make a difference. So I went in with that in mind, and things changed so much. It's really sad. To be a cop now, they're giving bonuses of like $30,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Some places.
Let's
to sign up.
Let's do this. Would you ever come back and maybe give an hour and a half again? I'd love to continue this conversation. Maybe,
absolutely.
Yeah,
man.
maybe
absolutely.
We can set up a time here, over the next couple of days or a week or whatever. And then I can get you just give you a link and you'll be in the show. So it's I don't have to hold the phone. And I give you a StreamYard link. You can come in. You don't have to show your face or anything like that if you don't want to. But at least we can.
I don't care about that. My face should be on right now. I mean, you got a picture right there.
Yeah.
My show is going to be Crime Analysis 101 by Detective John.
Cool.
So
let's hook up again. I'll reach out to me and let's do something. I'd love to have you come back and talk a little bit more, maybe on one of these Idaho shows, and we can kind of set the record straight about everything. It's just getting crazy.
And in the meantime, we can find something else.
Yeah, right.
There's so much out there.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, I've got some great ideas, and I think that if we collaborate together, like they are, I mean, together we can achieve a lot more.
100%.
And we can perhaps sway some of these people that are on the fence and let them actually look at the evidence and use their common sense. I mean, you can't tell the jury use your common sense. That's not allowed.
Right.
without, you can imply it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We got to
So
find it
these
beyond a
people-
reasonable doubt. Right.
That's right. You know, but the sad thing is you only have to have one juror, you know, that doesn't buy it.
Right.
So, you know, if a case deserves the death penalty, it's this case. But you know, the process, all the processes. You know, it's like this whole ridiculous thing about, you know, one of these shows is like, oh yeah, she got her wit, you know, she filed a motion, and you know, the defense, you know, the judge spanked the prosecution, and he's making them turn over the records for these 3 officers. Are you kidding me? That's like elementary 101. The prosecution's just saying, okay, I wasn't planning on calling them,
Right.
but so I don't know why you need them. But they twisted that, though, guys, everybody. They twisted that to make it seem like that the prosecution wasn't going to provide,
Right.
you know, the training information
That's
for these
what
officers.
I keep trying to tell people is that this is chess. It's chess,
Yeah.
not checkers. This is
and it's just like she filed her response.
right.
You can't tell me in reading that response that she didn't 100,000% try to let everybody out here on a Friday night,
Yeah.
when we finally got to see it, believe that the prosecution was withholding evidence. She 100,000% did that. She knew what she was doing. And I promise everyone that the judge admonished her, not in public, not where we could see it, maybe via an email, but he admonished her for doing that. Because I've been around a long time, and there's no judge that would read that response and not be pissed.
Right.
It was very, very, very unprofessionally written. She may be a badass and great and all this stuff. That was a very unprofessional.
I thought it was funny.
Total dig.
Yeah, I thought it was funny in when they had the response for the motion, the discovery, and she goes, "It doesn't matter what came first. It doesn't matter what came first. The car, what was it? The Elantra or the sheath?" And I was like, it just sounded to me, it was like the chicken or the egg.
Right. You know, it's just, and you go to these, and I told you I troll, but I troll because I'm literally in tears. I'm laughing so hard at some of this crap that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And to watch this one lady on our show, she just, oh my gosh, it's like, oh, she got the sarcastic, you know, laugh. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen to some of her theories, and she thinks she's smart. She's picking the legal system apart.
Right.
And she has no clue what she's talking about, brother. Zero.
Yeah.
Zero clue. And I get on there and I what qualifies you to make these, to opine on this stuff?
Right.
What kind of qualifications do you have? You know, it's what you're saying is totally off base.
Right.
You know, but you know, we could banter back and forth on this all day long, but I'm you, man, and if I said on T-Rev's show, you're not going to see me much anymore because I'm over this Idaho 4 crap.
Sure.
You know, there's nothing new out there. You know, now we have a couple videos have dropped, and Jeff went out there and put together a great video.
Yeah. So
and they're even picking him apart, man.
Here's something.
It's insane.
If you could do this for me, I would appreciate it. I actually emailed Jeff this morning because I like what he did in his videos. And in my next live, I emailed him and said, hey, I saw your videos. I just wanted to get permission. Like, would you give me permission to to just play them on my live? Because I really enjoy. So if you talk to him.
Absolutely, man. I talk to him about every day, brother. And I tell you, he's the nicest guy. And for these people to treat him the way that they treat him, they treat him because he was on the show, it was unbelievable.
The problem is that it squashes their narrative. That's why.
Exactly.
It squashes their narrative.
They don't want to see anything that's truth related.
Right.
They don't want to see it.
But if you could ask him if it's cool that I show those, I really would like to show him because he did some really great work. And I was looking at him this morning and I was like, oh, you know,
he's fantastic. And, you know, and I plugged him, you know, no one else, T-Rev was plugging him. And I'm like, hey, Jeff could put that up there in 0.2 seconds. I could picture him sitting at his desk and hearing me say that. He pops up. He's like, "Come on!" I'm literally within a minute. He had what I suggested he do up there, and it was excellent.
Yeah.
And he's being and these other shows, he did the same stuff for them. Yeah. And then they crap up, man, because he was on a show that they didn't like. And then for them to purport that, let me tell you something, man. I've gone on to the shows and I've been very nice. And as soon as I posted one thing, I'm blocked. I realize I'm blocked. I'm nice in this stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm like, Jeff, are you? Jeff going like,
I think they're cutting out again.
No, I'm not on there. You know, so there is no open dialogue, or you have one theory, I have one, and we shake hands and we're good.
Right.
It's either their way,
it's one way,
their narrative,
or their way,
or not.
It's their way or their way.
That's what, and that's why I like your show. When you had your other name, what was it? I forget the name now.
Idiot.
You sent me an email or something, and I got, and I responded back, but I think you switched everything up. I don't know if you ever saw it or not, but I love the way you handle the audience, and you're open-minded, but you're also a realist, man. Yeah. You have the right to feel like he's guilty, just like they have the right to feel that he's innocent, and the facts don't change.
But I lean, and that's the thing is I always say, like, I lean because the evidence, in my opinion, is strong to be, to show guilt. But I said, but I always say he's always due his day in court. He's still innocent until proven guilty.
He's still innocent, but
let's do this.
I believe he's guilty.
Let's do this. Let's get another show together. I'd love to have you come on, just like the panel, and we can go back and forth with this again. I'd love to do it if you're up for it.
Absolutely, man.
Cool,
I look forward to it.
Okay.
I'd love it, and perhaps we can talk about something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do something else.
There's and it's like I've wanted, I asked, T-Rev to hey, let's cover Danny Rawlings, because that case was prevalent when I was a rookie.
Right.
And that is very similar to this case. It really is. And for those people that don't believe that someone could kill someone with a knife,
right? Well,
he killed 5 people.
Yeah.
So, and he was solo, and he went in through spider doors. This is the University of Florida in Santa Fe. Right here in my state. So, I mean, you pull up stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. Hey, let's kind of look at this. Let's look at Danny Rawlings and look at the similarities. People are comparing him to Bundy. I don't think there's any similarities to Bundy, personally.
Yeah.
Bundy's the most well-known, but Danny Rawlings was even more of a monster, I believe. And so if anybody wants to watch something, and I've never even watched the documentary, I just know all this stuff because I was involved in it.
Right.
So go pull up Danny Rawlings. They called, he was the butcher, the Gainesville Butcher, or the Gainesville Ripper, I'm sorry, is what he was referred to as, because he was brutal. And not to get graphic, he decapitated one of the girls and put her head in a bookshelf.
It's crazy.
When law enforcement walked in, they would be looking into her eyes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sitting there with no head. That's kind of crazy stuff this guy did.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff that I think people will be intrigued with.
Yeah,
not just bantering back and forth about the same crap.
Yeah.
Different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's get a show together. I'm going to wrap this one up in a little bit. I want to get a little bit more into this interrogation before I close up tonight. But listen, man, I appreciate you calling in. I know that you and I have been trying to like, I don't take this the wrong way, like hook up and talk. But I'm glad you called in, this impromptu call. And I just kind of want to hear your perspective on anything that's going on right now. And I pretty much figured this was the direction you're going to talk about, but I'll reach out to you via email. Maybe we can set up a time in the next, week or so, and we'll do another jam like this.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to it.
All right, brother.
All the listeners out there, I don't want everybody to think I'm totally biased. we can hit these questions and, you know, we can agree to disagree, you know, and I'm not going to disrespect anybody.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, he called people idiots. No, I called people idiots because they were pushing a false narrative,
Right.
claiming that Dana was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just
that's
crazy,
what pissed me off
man.
and set me over the edge, man. I mean, as a parent of 5 myself,
Yeah.
I would come unglued if that was one of my kids. I would probably hunt that person down. I was so pissed.
But yeah, but let's do this.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we'll get something going, and we'll do this again. I'd appreciate it.
All right. Hey, have a good night, everyone. God bless.
All right. Thanks for calling in. See you. All right. That was Detective John. That was kind of cool, man. I'm glad that he called in. You guys be nice. John's a nice guy. That was cool. Him and I actually been trying to hook up and chat for a little while, and it's cool that he was in the chat tonight. It's why I wanted to give him the floor and just say, hey, call in, and I wanted to hear your perspective on Idaho. So listen, it doesn't say Idaho in the title, but a lot of people just missed a really bunch of great content there, and John's great. So we're gonna have him back on the show. We'll do a show with him and do that. So let's do this. I'll do another half an hour here, and then I'll tomorrow I'm gonna probably wrap this stream up into the part 2, and that'll be at like noontime tomorrow, or maybe I'll come back tomorrow night and do part 2. But that was awesome. Thanks, John. I appreciate you calling in, man. I figured that was kind of going to be your response when I asked you. So, yeah, let's get back into this interrogation. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
The year before, like actually like putting the money aside, getting all the reservations and whatnot scheduled.
Like the dream trip to go there.
Yeah.
This is for that anime, you call it?
I mean, it was the inspiration. When we went there, though, we just kind of took up all the culture, because through the anime, you kind of see little glimpses of what the culture is actually like.
Mm-hmm.
So then we just wanted to kind of experience all that.
So it was a good time. And definitely worth going back for.
Definitely.
Hobbies. What do you like to do?
Okay, so besides the anime.
What I'll do for all you guys later is I'll cut out the phone segment with Detective John, and then I'll re-upload it into like a second segment. So if you want to hear that solely on its own, I can do that. So, okay, let's keep playing.
Besides that, we would play video games. We actually just got like a virtual reality headset thingy for like the computer. That was kind of fun.
What kind of games do you play?
God, back in the day, we played Call of Duty a lot, like back in the day. And then we got out of that because it was just starting to get too, like...
Which system did you use?
PlayStation. Oh, PlayStation. Then we went to Xbox because that was like what a couple of our friends had. And then we went back to PlayStation. And then me and my brother got into PC gaming. Where on that we just play like MOBAs, which are like strategy type games, RPG type games.
So I've got to ask, since you're into these game stuff,
I know none of
did
that.
you hack?
Did I hack?
Did you and your brother hack games? Are you the guys that I've played with when I was out of work for a couple months because of an injury that would hack and would cheat me and lower me down to the lowest level of?
Oh no.
Okay.
We weren't that technologically gifted, but I mean we would use like glitches or something like that when we would play on the PC, where you could like have no recoil, or it would like auto aim or something like that. So
yes is the answer. You're telling me.
I mean, but we didn't hack other people's accounts.
No, because I've seen people in the middle of an Xbox game. They'll tell you that they'll find somebody that's cheating, and you'll see this big hand come in and grab them. They say, "Come over here against this section of the game." And the guy's splatted against the wall, and they just stand there and they shoot him. He dies, and he comes right back there.
Oh, geez.
You're not one of those guys.
No,
okay.
I don't even
All right.
Fortunately,
we're fixing to have a big problem because you probably got me before. So you guys play a lot of the PC games.
Yeah, we started getting into PC games primarily. I haven't been on my PlayStation in months. I think the only other game that we really played was Fortnite, but then that was starting to get to like.
That's a big deal right now.
Man,
the younger
kids are all over it.
And actually, yeah, during the time that I was
yeah, you totally did.
That I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What is that? I'm sorry.
No.
We're kind of older. You have to explain a lot of this to us.
With Twitch, it's you got your mic and then you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to say that you're playing.
Okay.
and then, you know, they can donate, they can subscribe to you, which then you get like a monthly payment.
Did you have anybody doing that for you?
I had like I think I was up to like 30 something subscribers.
And what would you charge
Thank
them?
for hanging out.
With subscriptions, there's 4 tiers of it. Tier 1 is just $5. So right when you see that you blank subscribe to you get $5.
Is that monthly or just total?
Actually, it's Twitch pays you every 45 days because you're like an independent,
34.
self-employed or something.
No, but saying with their account, though, they subscribe to you. Would be for a 30-day period? Or
Yes, yeah.
So every 30 days, they owe you another $5.
If they resubscribe.
Right.
Yeah. So then there was that. Tier 2 was like $10. Tier 3 was $15. Then if somebody tier 4'd, it was $24, I think.
And what does that get you for?
All of the higher tiers do is they give you like more emotes, like little things you can put in chat. So that when you're playing, everybody who's in your room can chat about, you know, what you're doing or, you know, anything random. And then donations can range from 1 cent up to however high.
So what were we making off of Twitch a month?
Nothing really significant. It was like.
So you said about 30 people at one time subscribed to you? So a minimum, what?
$150.
$150, and then a few donations. But primarily, I guess just keeping myself busy.
Right.
Doing something.
There's a lot of money in this.
Now, are these adults doing this or kids?
They're in their early 20s.
Okay.
There's thousands and thousands of streamers who do that on Twitch, but there's maybe like 5 that make 6 figures. And then like the 2 most prominent ones are Ninja and Tim the Tatman, and they both play Fortnite. Like Ninja, I think, makes $300,000 a month from just doing
$300,000?
Yeah.
And where's he at?
Like, where does he live?
No, U.S., Japan, somewhere.
Oh, yeah, he's U.S. I think he lives up by Chicago or something like that. But he's only 24.
That you're hiding something.
No,
we played Atari when I was younger.
Atari, yeah, nice retro gaming. Pong, our first one.
So you do that, and so you got a lot of computer knowledge.
Guy's just a dork.
A good amount, yeah. I mean,
more than the average person.
Yeah. I'm computer savvy. Yeah.
You have a computer home? Good computer?
I have a gaming PC up in my room. And then there's another gaming PC downstairs that we just built for the VR specifically.
You guys build it?
Yeah. And then, but I mean, yeah, like my gaming PC, like we would buy all the parts and then we would put it together our own little way.
What would a good one cost you?
Yeah.
When I built mine, it was about $3,000, and then the gaming one downstairs, I think, was $4,000 or like $4,500.
And that's basically used for the VR stuff you're using it for?
Yeah.
And that was pretty neat
Yeah,
setup?
yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was cool. Getting into the
Kind of
virtual
games you
reality.
play?
On virtual reality, it was primarily just beat.
I like this interrogation though, because it's like they beat him down for a little while, you know, with all this like crap that is just so irrelevant. But it's great how they do it. It just slowly starts to turn into that interrogation. You know, they start kind of twisting the screws. So it's a really interesting interrogation.
So it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero, like Rocksmith or Rock Band, whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just use the virtual reality wands to hit the cubes in a certain way, however the song beat's going.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
apart from that, we really didn't get into too many other games yet, because we were kind of just focused on Beat Saber.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we had downloaded a few other where it's just like you're going through like a world and you can interact with the world or something like that.
What other hobbies you have?
Besides that, a number of years ago, like me and my brother were actually like gun enthusiasts, and you know we did it wrong, where we did it all during when the season was like high. So
see right there, they just let him talk. We know that he killed his parents and his brother with a gun. Now he's talking about being a gun enthusiast. So I always say, like, the best interviews is when the host can shut the fuck up and just let the person talk. Yes, this is building trust and rapport. Absolutely. And then, you know, Happy has a good thing. He thinks he's smarter than them. Again, they're making him open up. Exactly. And he already is. Now he's opened up and he's talking about, oh, I was a gun enthusiast. So now they have that on him. And they're going to dig from this point now and keep digging in a little deeper and deeper and deeper.
Everything costs so much money.
During hunting season?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, unfortunately, we don't run or anything like that. But we would go like clay shooting.
Where'd you go?
Primarily the place we went to is Quail Creek Plantation.
Where's that?
Like I was telling you in the car, I don't remember the.
No, is it local or is it?
It's like an hour and a half away from here.
You know what county it's in or city?
Quail Creek Plantation.
The only place I know a gun range I really know. I mean, that you go do stuff like that is out in Geneva.
There's one in Geneva, right?
Yeah, I think there's one out there.
That might be where it is, but I don't remember the city specifically. But we would do the clay shooting, and then we were part of the Volusia County gun and shooting
club or something.
Yeah, whatever it was called. But that was like 2 years ago. The only thing that we really kept up with was clay shooting. But even that, I don't think we've done that for like 8 months or something.
What were you shooting? What was your gun for that? What was you like?
I'm gonna go probably another 20 minutes in this, and then oh boy, we might have to split this up into 3 different streams. We'll do another 20 minutes here, and I am planning to do part 2 tomorrow. There's probably going to be a part 3. In all for good cause. I mean, I wanted Detective John to call in. I thought that was a great call. And we'll do another 20 minutes, and then possibly tomorrow I'll do I think I'm going to do part 2 at like noon tomorrow. So if you can't miss it, you can always come back and watch the replay. I might have to do 3 parts in this because it's a 4-hour interrogation. I was going to do 2 hours and 2 hours, but John called in. I wanted to give him the floor. So that was a great call, by the way. And, we'll get it out of the way, even if I have to power through one night and just get like 2.5 hours out of it out. But I'll stop talking. We'll keep playing.
My brother both got the Benelli, like long Super Magnum,
Supernova, I think it is?
Supernova. We both had those, and then during the time where like I was struggling, like in the last 6 months, I sold all of my guns.
What'd you have?
What did I
have? You have a little gun collection going?
I did. I had about 4 ARs. They were all just If
Patrick's still in here, Patrick, I got your email today. It was long. I just didn't have time to read it at work, but I'm gonna read it and I will respond to you.
You would buy like the different parts again, kind of like with the PC, and then just put them all together.
I'm not done like that. Why so many hours?
I mean, again, we were just like an enthusiast for wanting to build our own things and just kind of seeing what we could come up with.
Well, you build them up, you buy them already made.
We would buy the specific parts and then have them sent to the gun clubs or whatever, so that you could pick them up. And then we put them all together.
You guys build them yourself? You didn't have nobody do it for you?
No.
So you had 4 yards. What'd you have? What else?
Besides that, I had Benelli M4 shotgun. Yeah.
Tactical shotgun.
Tactical shotgun.
What were you using that for?
That was like our favorite. That was just our gun that like me and my brother both had one of those.
You both had one.
Yeah, and then we had that had always just been our cream gun that we just wanted to have a tactical M4.
It looks like alien.
We took it to the range a couple times just to put some rounds
through it. I've got an M1.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But the M4 is much nicer.
Yeah. And then we had the Supernovas, which we just used for clay shooting. And then pistols wise, I had I think 4 or 5 just pistols.
What do you have?
I had a Glock 17, I believe it was. I had.
If you actually read about the crime itself, the way that he staged the crime scene, he's a complete fucking idiot. And they were like, yeah, they pretty much figured it out pretty quickly what was going on.
It's not the Shield. It's a Smith & Wesson M9 something. I don't remember what it is. And then I had a Taurus, which was, I think, like a 45 caliber. And then I had, again, it's like the dream gun that I always wanted was the FN Tactical 45 with like the threaded barrel and all that stuff.
The TD gun?
Yeah, exactly. No suppressors or anything like that. Because again, during that time, it's like to get your stamp alone would take 6 months, and then you got to wait however long to get that back. So we never got that deep into it.
Still have them all, or you said you got rid of some of them?
I sold all my guns. Yeah.
Which sums it?
The Florida Gun Exchange.
The what?
Florida Gun Exchange.
Where's that at?
It's down in, they have one in, God, Ormond Beach. Ormond Beach, that's the one.
You took them over and sold them?
Yeah.
Sold them all at one time, or?
No, just kind of, because I didn't want to go in with too many.
Right.
And then I felt like they
They'd
would
look at you like, who's this guy with all these guns?
Yeah, or they would like cut me a lower deal because
Right.
I'm giving them like a whole bunch.
What'd you get for the ARs?
ARs, unfortunately, like it wasn't that much. It was only like $3,000 or something like that
For the
for all
four
of them. Yeah, just because they're
How much you spend on them, you think?
way more, like at least double. Because again, we bought them during the height of the season, and then I'm selling apparently where it's like not a good season to sell. And they told me that if they're not just like companies that, I can't even think of one, like companies that make their own and they're just like a fool, like this whole gun is all by this company or whatever. Those apparently sell for more than like a custom one, because some people might not like what I put on it, you know? So, I think that's why I probably didn't
How
get
about the
it.
handguns? What'd you get for them?
Wow.
Handguns was maybe like, total was like $1,500 or something like
It
that.
had a lot more in those.
And the
Pat,
FN
I got
alone
your
was
email. I'm
$1,600.
gonna respond.
You buy all them all
Have
new?
some time
Yeah,
on-
all new.
The rifles you put together.
Rifles we put
You
together.
customize them.
Yeah, the
But the handguns, were they?
handguns were brand new, shotguns were new.
Yeah.
What'd you get for
We'll
shotguns?
talk about that
What'd you get for them for?
For the M4, that one was like the highest one. I think they gave me like 1,100 for it.
What'd you pay for it?
About 15.
Yeah,
1500.
that's
So it's not too bad.
Not too bad.
And then for the Supernova, it was only about 700, but that one cost about $1,200. And that one, I think we actually had to get from Gander Mountain, way back when.
Do you have any of these left? Anything, or do you keep anything for yourself?
No, I ended up
Got rid of
selling
everything.
Got rid of everything.
Right.
So I was just
Super tired. It's hitting
I was
me.
just trying to get some semblance of money in.
Keep up with your payments.
I'm gonna crash.
Keep up
right
with my
after
payments, but
this.
also because like
So
the whole
tired.
trip was coming down the line. You know, my brother had to like foot the bill to get the attorney. So you know, it's like there was a lot of stuff.
What did you pay the attorney, you know, man?
I think it was $8,000 for the holding the attorney. Like,
Retainer?
Retainer fee.
And basically she had to do nothing.
She had to do nothing, and he got like annoyed because he apparently wasn't told that it was non-refundable. But I know that I told him, because like I had to send in the documents signing it saying this is non-refundable.
I've known of any attorney that takes a retainer that ever gives you anything back.
Yeah.
So
I
to
didn't
hire me, that's what it's going to cost.
Yeah, he didn't get anything back from that, unfortunately, and she ended up, I think, only going through about 3,000 of it. So, because what was it? I think 5,000 was for the criminal case, and then 3,000 was for the other case if it had to go to the Department of Health, which that never had to happen. So that 3,000 is just.
So your nursing certificate is still good.
Free, clear, and active. It's always been clear and active. It's just the quintessential. You go to that background check, and then they'll see an outstanding thing. Even though I have the paperwork now saying everything's been dropped, he's in the process of expunging his records.
Did you have to go in front of the board or anything?
No, I didn't have to go before the judge, because when
Not saying the board of nursing.
Oh, no.
With any of this.
No.
That's good.
You know, even when it all went down on the day where I was accused of that felony, you know, the cops came in and then they handcuffed me and they were like, you know, you've been charged with this.
He's a very
taking me
crass
down to the
person. Very, very crass.
Orange County jail area. You know, I had to have the picture taken and stay in the sitting area where they process you all and everything like that. And you know, I'm using the phones on the cord, you know, trying to just pass around the phone, and I'm surrounded by all these guys who are talking about, you know,
Who are real criminals.
Yeah.
Who are real
And
criminals.
the first person I call is my dad. My brother. And
I love how he goes. The detective goes, "Who are real criminals? Who are real criminals?" That's still, you know, trying to build that rapport.
What's the brother's name?
Cody.
My brother.
Cody,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
First person I called was him, and he was at work at the time, but he answered his phone, and I was just like, look, I'm freaking out. I've been charged with this. I've been told that my bond is this. And then I guess he tells, you know, whoever was working that day with him, I gotta go. So then he calls my mom. He calls my dad.
If you want to read up on this, I'll drop the link here. You can read about the case on the Crime Wire. can check that out. You can read up on it. It's a very interesting case. If you want, and you're one of those really morbid people, sometimes like myself, you can find the crime scene photos if you're into that online. It's very easy to find. They're pretty bad. So
Smooths things over as best as he can. He's just basically saying, I'm going to pay this. And then I think I was there for like 7 hours or something, even though it was paid within like the first hour.
Right. But it just takes a little time to get all the paperwork and the booking in and then the bond process to go through.
Right. Right.
So that's dismissed. You're out looking for jobs, applying pretty regular?
But yeah, I mean, I'd say pretty regular.
Anything left in savings?
Nothing left in savings. I think I had like $300-400. But
brother kind of helping you through?
Yeah. I mean, brother was helping me. My dad was covering the rent that he calls it, which is just like the monthly payment for us to help since we all live at home.
What was that? What was that figure?
$600 a month. Yeah. And then
it's not a bad deal, is it?
No. And then I mean he was covering like cell phone. We were paying for our own internet.
I imagine for that gaming on the stuff, you gotta have better than basic internet, didn't you?
it was
unfortunately out where we live, it's like our street, like the street coming down, I think.
Stole at I believe it was money at a hospital, and he was fired because he was using that money to bankroll this cam girl. And then eventually, when he lost access to the money in his job, he started hitting up his parents, his brother. They thought that he was using this towards his Twitch streaming, and then ultimately ended up racking up $200,000 of debt to this cam girl. It's crazy.
For Christmas, before you turn in, like that's the dividing line. Everything before you turn into Fort Christmas, all the nice big fancy houses that are on that side, they all have Spectrum and the gigabyte connection. They have everything available to them. But then right when you come down here, where I guess the older neighborhoods are,
and then essentially what happened is when the parents found out about it, they tried sending him to like a sexual addiction or online addiction rehabilitation center. He went for like a week and a half. He ended up quitting, coming back. And ultimately, they tried blocking him off from not talking to this woman anymore, and that's why he scrubbed out his whole family.
They haven't branched out everything, so I think it was just AT&T that was providing service. And I mean, we have the highest one, but it's still like I think it was 50 megabytes download and like 10 megabytes upload. So I mean, it's not that great, but it was good.
So basically, all your computer systems were underworked for what their capability.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
$100,000.
So I'm sure that virtual reality takes up a lot of speed, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29. He's 31. My oldest brother Jason.
He was 29 at the time. He's 34 now.
Who lives at home? All three boys live at home?
No. It's just me and Cody, and then mom and dad.
Okay. Tell me about Cody.
Cody. Let's see. Me and Cody had the quintessential rough, like fighting each other and whatnot when we were younger.
The love-hate,
right?
Typical siblings.
But then I would say, like my junior year of high school, we were all on the weightlifting team together. That's where I got to know a lot of like his guy friends. And
his mother really,
we stopped like arguing at that point, and then we all, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. I mean, we did everything together. I mean,
Who was the better student?
He was the better student in everything up through nursing school, and then I was actually the better student in nurse anesthesia school. But there was like again, kind of like.
Are you guys at the same time in the same classes?
Yeah.
So you're the
not for nursing school, not for nursing.
No, I mean for the anesthesiology.
Yeah, we sat right next to each other.
So you're in there doing things together, so you got somebody to study with.
Yeah.
Somebody to bounce things off of and work with.
Yeah, and we would do that all the time when we were burning the midnight oil.
But you were better at it.
Yeah, and that was the one time that he actually admitted that I was didactically more competent than him in that field. And then
who was better in weightlifting?
He was.
Okay.
He broke a number of school records. I think he was like the 129 weight class. I was the 119 weight class. But he was definitely stronger in high school. And then But yeah, we were close. I mean,
Poll at the top.
I mean, like,
you guys
bonded,
can answer that would help me out.
I don't really know how else to really say it. It was a lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people understand the bond of brothers. I mean,
yeah,
the true bond if you're close with your brother.
and I mean, during like this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for
Always
me.
there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there.
Fight with you 1 minute, but make sure that you were not stuck in jail for some silly charge the next.
And yeah, I mean, he's always been there for me. So with my oldest brother, Jason, not so much, just because he was adopted to begin with. And then
He was adopted by who?
my dad. He was my mom's son.
Was your mom married before your dad?
No.
Just had
it. Right.
Okay.
And then he was heavily restricted when we were younger, for lying and stuff like that.
And as you see now, the interrogation's starting to turn. It's slowly getting twisted into him. About 34 minutes into it, and now they're starting getting into the root of the problems with the family, what he thinks of the family, and it's a very good interrogation. It's very long, but it's very good.
For Dad. So basically, he would like
the anticipation.
He would go to school and then he'd come home. He'd have to stay in his room. There's like no TV or anything like that, especially not 15 years ago or something like that. But he'd come down for dinner and then he'd go back up and he'd do his work. On the weekends and whatnot, he would like go out and pick weeds and like do that stuff and then come in and then do the same thing. So unfortunately, me and Cody never really got to interact with Jason, the oldest brother, a whole lot. But I mean, Jason's been like, I think he's one of the most genuine people that you'd ever meet.
Cody's definitely when you're way closer with.
Yeah, hands down.
Go on vacations. He's helping with bills, helping with the legal issues.
Right, and I mean,
studied together.
We did everything together, connected at the hip.
Ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time. Financially, trying to get the job thing going, worrying about this whole what's going to happen with this legal stuff. But like even through it all, I mean, he would like have his moments where he would get extremely upset. He never gets violent, I guess you could say. But like at one point he got so upset that he like pushed a cabinet and then it like dented into the wall. So he'll like lose his temper, kind of like my dad. But yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been like where he's there for me. Like whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm gonna take care of it for you. And I mean, over like the last 6 months, I mean, it's been sad for me because like I see everything that like he's doing and like I can't be like how I've always been with him, where I'm helping out too, or I can do something for you. Right. Where we're kind of on the same playing field.
No, it looks like
I know that you make more money than me and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, we can do the stuff together. You don't have to pay for my dinner. When we go out with the guys, you don't have to pay for the trip,
Look it up.
It's just, I couldn't help relieve his stress, I guess, as well as I always used to.
Aliens.
And but it's also the camaraderie there.
Yeah.
You got your brother to go do stuff with.
Right. But then, I mean, I know for me, I had been bummed out just because, like, I've been out of work. My whole life it's been school, work, school, back to work, and then just, I mean, that's it. Sacrifice all my 20s and never went tailgating or anything like that.
Do you have any issues with depression over all the legal issues and beyond?
I would say that I was depressed, but
suppressed.
I'd always put on the happy face for like my brother and whatnot.
How would you deal with the depression?
I talk to God. I try and just rationalize it in my head that I haven't heard anything from this attorney in 5 months, 6 months. I mean, you'd think that if it was something so severe that you would have heard about it by now. So I was just trying to rationalize to myself that hopefully this can all get taken care of, and then I can get back. I was looking towards the future, like then I can do like what I'm doing now, where applying, everybody likes me when they talk to me and they look at my resume and they see all my experience, and then just waiting for if I get the call back.
Well, you got, of course, I'm sure you know this. You've got that little blemish
Yeah.
over no fault of yours, it goes away, but still it's there, they can see it.
Right.
And you have to explain away,
Right.
here, even though it was dropped, you still have that little check mark that you got to get behind.
Right.
And then that's tough to go from what you were and you're working towards, the job your brother has.
Right.
And, the financial gains, the difference between the nurse and the program you're going to, it's a huge burden on you, of course.
Yeah.
Did you take any medication for the depression?
No, never. I never took any
Or even self-medicate?
No, I never took any like antidepressants or anything like that. I think the only thing, just because like sleeping was kind of off and on at a time, I would take like Benadryl just to like help me go to sleep back at home, and then when I think the only other thing is like sleep aid, which is again it's just diphenhydramine. Secondary side effect is just drowsiness. It's not like its actual purpose.
Such a dork.
And then melatonin, just to help with the sleep cycle. Because I worked nights all the time, so I was always a night owl, always awake. And then now it's like
Trying to get back into
because I'd be going to days. But that's the only thing I ever took. And then Advil, ibuprofen for like headaches. But no antidepressants, no medical history, none of that type of stuff.
But you and Cody said.
All right, let's do this. I know it's starting to get kind of ramping up. It's getting good. We're about 39 minutes into the interrogation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pause it for tonight. It's getting late. I'm super, super tired. I worked like all day long, so I'm tired. The cool thing is I'm off starting tomorrow night at 9 p.m. all the way until Tuesday. So I have 3 nights. I'm going to start getting some streams going those 3 nights. Probably going to be battling against everybody else's Idaho streams, but I'm going to come up with some other content. But we'll do part 2 to this. 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Looks like 9 p.m. won out. So we're going to do that tomorrow night. Maybe I'll do a quick impromptu tomorrow afternoon if I have time. If not, I definitely will do an Idaho stream on Sunday night, most likely around 9 p.m. So I'll get that up on the calendar. And I know that I'm going to try to work and get Detective John back on like a real show, so I didn't have to hold my phone, because I'd love to hear a little bit more from his perspective. So I want to thank John for doing the impromptu call tonight. That was fantastic. I had a lot of fun talking to him and just hearing his side of the story. And I know that a lot of you in the chat know about John. So let's do this. Let's end this for tonight. This is going to be it's actually episode 11. I've been meaning to do this for a while, so it's a little out of order. So episode 11 is in the books, and I will be back tomorrow night with part 2, and we might have to break this into a part 3 stream, which is fine, but I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope I see all of you over there hanging out. I still think it's going to be a really great time, and like I said, everybody's kind of missing out on the good stuff. I mean, you never know what can happen during a show, and I thought we had an awesome hour tonight, or 45 minutes with John. So really great stuff. Everybody be safe. Have a good night, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye. Ciao.